Okay, this is part 2 of our What Would Jen Do review. In this one, we're going over the last 20 or so hands of the tournament, and these are all going to be cold calls or blind defense, I'm pretty sure, something like that. But the other ones we reviewed, part 1 was mostly raise first in. Okay, so first hand, we have a big blind.
So I would call because it's rainbow, but I would 3-bet if it had any kind of suitedness to it. It's a pretty good hand. But okay.
Double suited, we would definitely 3-bet, but single suited is fine. It's fine 3-bet depending on how button reacts, but it's also fine, plays just fine as a call even if it was single suited. Anyways, we call. What would Jen do? Check. Check range. That's right. Okay.
So when we have top 2, it's unlikely he has a set. I think he may be willing to barrel bluff some cards too. So I would probably just check call.
Yeah, we don't really have a strong. We don't really have a lot of check raises on ace high boards, unless you have like set plus nut flush draw or 2-pair plus flush draw. Maybe like ace king hand as strong as like ace king queen jack. Yeah, versus pre-flop raiser, obviously we are just check calling. Turn is a pretty brick card that can improve our range, but not his. Not really hit. Well, that's not true. He can be raising some 3-4s on the button. We check.
Call.
Yeah.
I'm not folding.
Simple decision.
We have all the pairs. All of them. I wasn't happy with 2, and now I have 3.
He gives up. Just see what results on.
So, I mean, how do we check raise? I don't think he's calling with the ace queen. So, yeah, probably not.
It's pretty rare that you raise top 2 unless you have other stuff to go with it, or it's a 3-bet pot.
So I like our play.
Yeah.
Okay.
Take a 3-way flop here. It's worth noting that we can actually squeeze this hand or call. I think
I like squeezing better because the 6 high flush isn't gonna play that well multi-way. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't mind a squeeze with this hand, given that we're deep enough to call a 4-bet and profitably. I think that's fine. But I called.
Do we check call or check raise? Well, we block top pair. We don't have a nut blocker though. And we have a gutter to 5-6. I don't know whether I'm supposed to call or raise.
Okay. So the parameters for getting it in, meaning we check raise flop. Well, first of all, we're 150 deep, so we'd have to be very nutted to be getting it in here. So we'd have to have something like 2-pair plus flush draw to get it in here. And something like 2-pair plus at least king high flush draw, preferably nut high flush draw. So this is definitely not strong enough to get it in. This plays just fine as a check call. So the times that you do get it in with this hand, you would be getting it in versus an overpair plus the nut flush draw. So how are we doing versus that hand?
Oh, not very good.
Yeah. Or top set, or like ace 4 of clubs with aces, something like that. So yeah, you getting in here would be atrocious. But this is why PL is pretty profitable, because a lot of fish get it in here, in this tournament specifically. Jen's a fish.
Hey.
Check entire range here on this footboard non-changing texture.
So it doesn't really make sense that he bets the flop and then checks back the turn, so he probably doesn't have much is what I would think. Maybe he has like queens.
Well, what he's saying when he checks back the turn is he has one pair or worse. So he can still have aces. He can still have ace 10.
Oh, okay.
But he's saying he has one pair or worse. Yes.
So I
Oh,
don't
sorry.
think.
Okay, river. Before I check.
You don't block Jack 8, but I don't think he has very many Jack 8 combos because I think a lot of those hands would have barreled the turn, and we do block 6 8. So I think I might turn my hand into a bluff.
I think that's actually I think that's actually okay because this is nearing the bottom of our range. The only worst hands I can think of are hands with 4-5 in them. So maybe we bluff the hands with 4-5-6 like that, but not this one because we do have top pair, which can be good a fair amount of the time. That he just has like ace king queen jack, or then again those are probably gonna bluff us off our head anyway. So I don't actually mind a bet here on the river when we get to this with one of our worst hands on the river. But that being said, I don't really like bluffing when we don't have a blocker to the nuts, so no 8 or jack. So I would just treat this as a check, hoping to win at showdown, never calling.
You're just saying because you don't want him to have a reason to call with those blocker cards?
Oh yeah, you need hand card removal because one, he can have jack 8, or two, he can have a jack or an 8, which makes it more likely that he calls with his ace 10 jack or whatever, ace 10 8. So
Alright, so let's see if it would have worked. What? No, you can't do that. That's baloney. I don't believe him.
why can't he have jack 8?
Wouldn't a lot of the combos with Jack 8 have bet the turn?
Not ones without board blockers, so not one is without a 10. So a 10 or a 10 or a 7. So he has to have jack 8 7 or jack 8 10 to bet the turn. Because without any of those removal cards, it's too likely that I have 10 7 and he's gonna be facing a check raise.
What would be a pre-flop combo that has Jack 8 in it? That doesn't have
Jack 8 7 queen, jack 8 10 queen, jack 8 ace king.
Jack 8 ace king. I don't understand why he would have bet. He would bet the flop just because he's trying to fold out equity, and then he would check the turn because he doesn't have 2 pair.
Right. And he doesn't have enough equity to build a bigger pot. So let's say he has no flush draw to go with his ace king jack 8. Why would he want to build a pot without any blockers, without any equity other than a pure gut shot?
Okay, so you fold.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we clearly can't call. This is
You could
crazy.
raise.
No,
That would be a Jennifer move.
never raise without blockers. Let's not do that.
I think I like my lead better, because then you're not
Yeah, but you don't have a jack or 8. I mean, if he's got even a hand like pocket jacks, he's gonna beat us because he's gonna either call or raise it. If he has anything with a jack that has an overpair, he's probably calling those. Or an 8 that has an overpair. I mean, we just have too many anti-card removals. You want card removal in bluffs. Okay. So I actually limped the small blind, which I don't think you should have a limping small blind range in these tournaments. I don't agree with this. I think this hand is fine. It's good enough to raise the small blind. Okay, so I think I limped. I don't really know why we limped the small blind. Alright. Could have been a misclick. Or just a mistake. Okay. So we see his flop. Maybe this, I mean, yeah, I probably wasn't paying attention to this hand, 6 tabling or something, because I don't know why I would check this flop. Seems like with the king and the 5, this is an okay hand to bet or check call, I guess. Maybe I was thinking check call. We don't have to go over this hand too much because you're not going to have a limping small blind range, but okay, so let's assume we raise and he call. Would you c bet this flop? How do you show hands only when we get to the river. Skip any hand. Maybe it'll show up there. Show up.
I think I would prefer to have a higher diamond in my hand.
Yeah.
But because we have a 5, I think I could go either way.
Yeah.
I don't really see like what the
Right.
big
I think
difference would be.
I was thinking check call and let him like bluff because our hands plays pretty good as a bluff catcher with future deucer before we block the 4/5 and we have a diamond, so we block flushes. So I was probably thinking that not good enough to build a pot, but good enough to check call.
And then given that if we had raised, I would see this as a as a bet card, but because we limped, both players can have some ace X, so it doesn't really help us
Right.
to hit this card.
Right. So check.
So check, and then river 8. We'd be telling a pretty bad story, I think, at this point. We'd have to be having like random 2 pairs.
Yeah, I think versus like a big blind check back, like we just win a lot with King Jack because it's gone check through.
Yeah.
Ooh, plot thickens.
This is interesting because you could have maybe some weak. I'm trying to think what you would have that you would do this with.
That he would do this
No,
with?
that you would check raise with. I'm trying to think
you're
of
trying
like.
to find reasons to check
Yeah,
raise.
I'm trying to find a reason. I don't.
No, I mean I just ended up check calling it with. I'm thinking that King Jack is going to be good a lot when this goes check through and he's just betting.
Yeah, I just don't think you're really repping anything to check raise.
No,
so
I agree. You can't really.
Just trying to find a reason.
No reason to just go for it in a 2 big blind pot.
Alright.
Let's not have a limping range for you. Alright. Defend big blind with moderate hand. Checks back.
It's a strange.
Well, this is gonna come up, so you need to know what to do.
I mean, I would check. I'm probably losing this hand and checking. What?
Yeah, that's very strange. That's a very strange pot sizing there.
I mean, I'm probably just folding. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I just think he's an odd.
Duck.
I'd probably label him fishy pants.
Yeah, it's a weird pot river sizing for sure. Maybe we had the best hand, who knows? But we didn't have a bluff catcher, so. All right, that's a pretty good hand. That's a good flop.
I would lead for half pot.
But you have no hearts, and
Damn
there
it!
are 3 hearts.
There's 3 hearts.
3 hearts on
I
board.
didn't see the hearts. I saw the red.
So okay, so
you could still lead though for a small amount, I guess.
I mean, he has more nut flushes than we do, so no.
Check.
Yes.
Alright, well now he checked back. But we still don't have hearts, so I would check.
Good. I think this play both as a check or a bet, but I think check is better because he's checking back his weaker flushes that aren't the nut flush on the flop, and we'll be betting them on the turn. We also keep in his bluffs by checking again, so I think check is best.
That's a poos bet. I'd raise. 3 bigs. What if he has like 2 pair and he's trying to like boat up? Like I feel like we can get a little bit of value here.
I agree. I think that at this point he would be betting a half pot sizing with his queen high flushes and jack high flushes, and I think that one big blind is I would treat as a check. So I was actually kind of hoping to get in maybe a bet or 2 streets here. So I think this is a check. So I agree that we should check raise, and we can get called by. I mean, so the fact that we actually have 2 pair removes his 2 pair continues, but it gives us boat outs in case he does have a flush. So, I mean, with that weird ass sizing, we're okay to put in 4 blinds rather than 1 blind on this turn. We have 2 pair plus the nut straight.
Oh. Oh, hello.
That's interesting.
Now what do I do?
Well, we wouldn't be raising
I think
any
if you're...
sets on the turn, so
Yeah,
we
I
don't
think
have
if
any
you're...
boats, except for we did raise with a 2 pair hand, but we happen to have a straight with it. So unlikely that we have boats.
I think because you're unlikely to have boats, you should check and then let him bet, and then try to decide if you want to like turn your hand into a bluff.
Good. I like that analysis. Though this is also a good bluff catcher because we're blocking all the boats.
But
so
he has to have a hand to call the
You're absolutely right. So what hands
raise.
call the raise?
So
maybe
small flush.
maybe a straight with an 8, just an 8, like a naked 8, like an 8, 5, 8, 4, 8. One's without a 7 in it. Well, actually no, 8, 7 too. 8, 7 would be a worse straight than us. So anyways, we check and he checks it. So let's see what we got. So he did have the 8 high straight on the turn.
Okay, so we got max value out of him.
Well, we could have bet the river, but yeah,
He's not gonna call the river.
But yeah, no, this is fine. I mean,
Don't deceive me like that. I'll believe you and then try to go for it.
That's just too thin. Like we still can't beat. You still can't beat his like 9 high flushes that he plays this way without, you know. How about is that the show? After I hit. Okay. Anyways, moving on. So king's out of the small blind here. How do you play this? We do have, it's noted, look at, pay attention to the stacks. He's opening off 20 blinds, we have 20 blinds, and big blind has 5 blinds. So kind of an awkward spot.
I think I'm actually folding. I know, but I'm used to playing in the cash games because in the small blind I'm supposed to be playing like 5% of my hands. Versus
kings is top 5%. I mean, these
with
are like
8-4.
I mean,
You don't even
it's a
open
single
that
suit.
one. You don't
It's a
even.
single suit.
Yeah, I know, but you don't even open that one under the gun.
Yeah, you do.
You sure?
Pretty sure. I would be surprised if it's not.
Oh, I got it wrong.
Yeah.
Okay, it's king king 5-2 or king king. Yeah, king king 5-2.
Yeah, we're suited to king. Wait, yeah, that was single suit. Even single suit suited to the 5 with 5-4. So we're suited to the king with 4-8.
Yeah, both those hands. Okay,
So-
that's fine. So are you trying to get it in 22 blinds with king 8?
No, I don't think these are good enough kings to get.
So what happens
it.
when you call and then that guy behind you just
Yeah,
shoves
that's
and now
awful.
now
Yeah,
it's the
yeah,
same thing as
yeah.
raising.
Yeah.
So my option of folding isn't really that bad.
Yeah, I agree that would be an awful thing to happen.
I don't see any way that you're gonna have this hand not be 3 ways and you don't have you're gonna have the second nets at best.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess you make a good point because, I mean, there are times when big blind either A folds or B calls, so there are those times. But you're right that he is gonna shove, and then the button is gonna ISO shove, and then we're gonna have an awful spot, and we're probably gonna have to fold because these kings won't play well 3 ways.
Plus you only have 22 big blinds. It's not like you have that many chips to gamble with. I feel like maybe folding is better than just calling and then getting yourself in a shitty spot.
Yeah, interesting. Okay, I certainly thought about both decisions at the time and ended up going with like too good to fold and just called.
Well, I feel like we're gonna ask what would Jenn do.
Well, what Jenn do is right. That's right. These are the situations that come up more often.
Probably just checking. I don't really
So when button checks, he's doesn't have any two pairs right on the flop. We can safely assume he has 0 2 pairs, which makes our kings look pretty good, unless he improves to with the 5. Um, Although obviously he has aces in his button range, but not betting as well, like just bad aces without any kind of draws to go with it.
You don't
So
really interact with the board that much. I mean, you have like a 4 for like the 4-6 draw, and then I guess you block the 8 jack draw, but it doesn't. You know, like you have like any kind of pair blockers or
yeah,
no like backdoor hearts.
yeah,
I don't know. I feel
yeah.
like
Check.
the hope's
You
pretty
check.
slim.
Okay. So my thinking was, at the time I led. So my thinking is, we're beating button unless he has aces or improved with the 5. And big blind has pretty much like a pretty random hand, almost any 4 cards, because he's defending the big with 4 blinds, getting good odds, and he didn't lead. It's worth noting that he didn't lead shove the flop, which he would do with, I think, all of his 2 pairs. So I do believe that both of their 2 pairs are non-existent unless they improved with the 5. So with that, we're only losing to aces and improved 5s. I think that betting is okay. I mean, yeah, I don't love it, but betting in the hopes to either maybe he gets it in with some kind of turn draw, like 6-7 or 4-6, or just a naked 5 with those hands, with those cards, and then we get button to fold any of his straight equity, because I still think we have the best hand. I don't love this hand, but yeah, I bet call. All right. Well, we are not putting any more chips in the pot, obviously. So we actually.
You have blocker to 4-6.
You know what? I fucked up this hand. Now that we're talking about it, it's good to review. Now I can see a better decision than what I make here. So, what do you think on this river?
We've come this far. We're sticking it in.
So, I do think that we should stick it in to get button to fold hands that are better than kings, like that improves with the 5, like 9-5 and 10-5. Probably not 10-5 because he probably would have bet the flop. So 3-5 and 9-5, given that we have a 4 blocker. I actually do like this shoving here because we only have to beat this big blind hand, which is a pretty super wide range, given that he had 4 big blinds to start the hand and didn't shove. So I actually think that best option is to shove here and get him to fold either aces or a 2 pair that is not 10-5, which he would have already shoved with. So yeah, we know that button, we can get him to fold aces, 3-5, and 5-9. So I think that shoving is actually best with the 4 in our hand, but I didn't do it at the time. I didn't think of it at the time. Probably playing too many tables. So I check, and we lose to aces.
I like my fold pre.
So it is worth noting that this guy had just a 9 and a gut shot to king queen. So our play to shove the river would have been awesome. That would have been like far superior than the way we play this hand. So poorly played hand by me, but worth reviewing. Okay. Oops. Spoiler.
What? Go.
Open under the gun. We're on the button with rainbow.
Oh, you're asking me what to do?
Yes.
Oh. I mean, these are my best rainbow aces.
That's
Pretty
not
close
true.
to it. King.
If the 9 was a 10, jack, or queen, that's a much better rainbow ace. But we're okay.
Raise. Yeah, I'm still raising.
I think raising is okay. We can 3-bet to about 7.5, 8.5, 9. We can 3-bet to 9.3 blinds, which gets in 25% of our stack, which gives us an SPR of 2. Yeah, that would give us an SPR of 2, so we don't have to have like a flush draw aces to get it in.
The opponents
So-
behind you don't seem particularly aggressive in any case, so I don't think you're gonna get a lot of squeezing or anything wild when under the gun is the raiser. So you might as well just open and try not to see aces 3 ways.
Yeah, off of this shallow stack, I do think that 3-betting is probably better. Um, Off of a deeper stack, you should definitely flat these rainbow aces off of like 60 or 80 blinds plus, because then your SPR is like would be over 3, and getting in, then it's gonna be hard to be happy to get in aces on any kind of board, rainbow aces on any kind of board post flop with an SPR of 3 or higher. Um, but I chose to call.
With a 9 blocker, I'm gonna bet the flop, and I'm probably gonna bet like 2/3.
Yeah, I like a bet. I know I know I didn't bet this at the time, um, because I didn't have a 10 or a queen in my hand. So my thinking is that he can check shove a lot of wraps. Queen 10-8, Queen 10-7, Queen King Queen 10. Uh, so that's my thinking, and then my thinking is also that we're crushing anything that he's just giving up with. So I decided to check back and treat it as a bluff catcher. Although I think bet calling is fine the flop too. Yeah, I think it's good. A couple of poorly played hands by me. I think that betting is probably better.
Well, it's checked to you twice now. I don't think he's being tricky. I think you should probably bet at this point. I don't think he's like not gonna lead 7-8, and I definitely don't think he's check. I mean, he could have something like. No, I think it's just a bet. I'm trying to think what he would have that he would check twice. That's just crushing you, but he doesn't have that many combos of like the smaller pair combos, right? Like I guess he could have like a random Jack 5 or something like that. Like if he had Ace Queen Jack 5.
I think he's betting all of his jacks. So when he does check, not C bet, he's either A, trapping, B, has a rundown hand that doesn't interact with pairs that he's looking to check shove, or C, missed the board with a low rundown that he opened at the gun, something like 5, 6, 7, 8.
I think he would have led the turn with 5, 6, 7, 8.
Oh right, because that's a straight. Yeah. So most of those middling rundowns now have straight or.
He also has a vulnerable straight, so I think he's definitely gonna bet.
So
I
you think he's just check folding?
I think he's just check folding. I think you should just lock up your equity.
Okay, but being uncapped, we have to fire like 3/4 here. You okay with that?
Wait, we are capped.
No, board texture changed.
But we didn't bet the flop, so I guess we.
Yeah, we could have some dry 7/8s like King King 7/8 that we would not see bet with, or that we wouldn't bet the flop with.
I think I might have bet that hand. Why wouldn't I bet that hand?
No interaction with the Jack 9, so Queen or 10. King King 7/8 probably good enough to get in the flop. It's close with 40 blinds. I wouldn't be thrilled.
Yeah, okay, I see what you mean. I wouldn't be excited to
Yeah.
get raised, so I would check.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't really understand why we have to bet bigger. I mean, I understand we're uncapped, but we're also only playing with 40 bigs. Aren't you betting smaller a lot once you get sub 50 big blinds?
Yeah, so in a cash game, my bet would be pot on the turn.
Right, but
with whatever I'm betting.
But in tournament.
Right, so in tournament I'm betting slightly less than pot, so it'd be like 80% is what I would be betting on the turn here.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not looking to like change from what I would if I'd be betting pot going to 1/3. That's not the kind of
Okay.
change I'm talking about.
I'm still betting. I would like a bet.
And then obviously we just check down, take our showdown.
So we did have 5, 6.
Yeah, I don't love the way I play this hand. We'll move on. I agree that betting flop is probably just best. Or 3-betting even on leaving us SPR of 2 post flop would be fine too. Probably best is 3-betting. But if we had like really bad rainbow aces, would we? I think with the king and the 9, it's okay to get that one in post flop SPR of 2. But if we had like ace, deuce, 6, I would not be 3-betting it, because would not feel good getting those in on any board texture. But at least the king and the 9, you're interacting with middle and high and blocking some straights and stuff. Okay, so I did limp here with this hand because it's too good to fold, but and this guy's rather tight. Um, so I thought I would just win.
Rainbow?
Yeah, I mean this is a 2-gapper.
So given that we don't have a limping range,
Yeah,
we'll just fold.
let's just ignore the limp, I guess. But let's just.
But I'm saying, in practice, if I'm playing a tournament and I don't have a limping range, I would fold this one. Because he has 18 bigs, and I can't.
No, I wouldn't fold. I mean, any 2-gapper without a deuce or 3 in it. So 4 or 5. The worst one being 4, 5, 6, 9. I would probably open that. Man, that's kind of bad. Okay, that one's a bad. 4, 4, 5, 6, 9. I would probably fold 5, 6, 7, 5, 6, 7, 10. I would, or 5, 6, 7, 9. 5, 6, 7, 10.
Yeah, I guess
So-
I'm playing a little too tight.
Yeah.
In the small blind, I would have probably not played this hand.
No, this one's definitely fine. Yeah, rainbow sucks. You're right. Rainbow does remove a lot of our hands, so maybe it is a fold. I don't know. Let's see what Munker says. We don't have Munker, but we will be getting Munker soon. So Munker says playing the small blind 30% of non-pairs.
So a 2-gapper,
I know.
non-pair, you're playing 5%.
So 2-gapper rainbow. Oh, okay.
So that's
Yeah,
definitely
that's
a
definitely
fold.
a fold then. Okay, because it's rainbow. Yeah, single suited, we're playing 40%. Okay, so maybe this is a bit too loose. Okay. I mean, you're gonna play a better small blind than me. Okay,
Probably
so
not a better big blind.
all right, so I went ahead and bet the flop, thinking that he'd be raising a lot of his bigger cards with ace, and then we have a 7 of clubs, which is something. I'm just obviously betting to try and win the hand because we have no improves, and this is a single barrel hand. So when the turn does give us a blocker to the nuts with deuce 5, I do think that the 5 is relevant, but I don't think it's that relevant because we're never limping a deuce 5 hand here. So and this guy Mookie is a reg at the higher stakes cash games, so I do think that he would know that never limping a deuce 5 type of hand. So I didn't bluff this card. And then we have the nuts.
Ooh.
I just bet and he folds. Okay. That was yeah. Limping small blind will just not do that for you guys.
Should we skip the limp small blind hands?
Yeah, I think that was the only 2. Maybe there's one more. As I limp a small blind.
Yeah.
Okay. No big deal here. I just have top 2. I bet and check the river.
I think you check called the flop.
No, I bet.
Oh, really? Did I get it wrong?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, you're right.
I bet check the river.
Okay, next.
Yeah.
This is a pretty loose defend. You're calling the 8 high flush draw with a pair of 8s and like a 10 kick. I don't think
Yeah.
I like this call. I think
It's
this is a
so
fold.
no. When he's opening to 2.4, so that's where you're wrong. So we're opening to 2.2 and 2.4 as well, like he is, but we're doing that to take advantage of people that are folding their big blind too much. Because in PLO, equities run really close with almost all holdings. So we're at the price, the odds we're getting 3 to 1. We're literally getting 3 to 1 with antes and small blind. So we should be calling anything that is, what, babe? At least 25% equity when we're getting 3 to 1. So 8, 8, 4, 10, probably 25% versus aces. Definitely 25%
Well,
versus
yeah,
aces.
but doesn't he have a lot of rundowns that are going to get you into trouble? A lot of like higher card hands that are going to like you're never going to. I just feel like you're going to get into trouble, or I would get into trouble. Maybe you won't get into trouble.
I mean,
I feel like I'd be rocket shipping it in the wrong spot. You know what I'm saying?
you can't get into too much trouble. It's not like we're ever building a big pot without a set of 8s, right? Or the nut straight. we're never trying to build a big. We're never like check raising this hand post flop unless we have a set of eights.
So like what percent of flops are you able to continue with on this hand?
Two spades,
But
open ended with 8-10.
I don't know what
an
percent.
8. What percent? I don't know.
Have to look
I
it
don't
up,
know. But yeah, the point is we're getting 3-1, and we have a suit, and we have a pair, and we have all cards higher than a deuce and a 3. I think because of the pot odds, this is a call, and how close equities run.
I wouldn't have expected him to check that flop. I don't think you have that many deuces.
Yeah, you're right. I wouldn't expect him to check this flop either. Okay, now we have an interesting river decision. We'll let Jenn take it away.
Well, I really thought he would have bet aces and kings by now.
I agree.
So I don't think it would be that bad to bet small here.
Agreed.
For value.
Agreed. However, I do think that people overbluff this spot too much as the pre-flop raiser, and are overbluffing with hands as strong as ace king that are very good showdown hands, and ace queen even, which is also a good showdown hand. So I do think that as the pre-flop raiser, people are overbluffing this card. So really nice to have an easy check call on the river with a hand like eights, and maybe we start value betting when we have jacks.
What's he got?
He didn't overbluff with ace king. But I do think that in this general spot, people are overbluffing with hands like that. Okay, same opponent. We have an easy big blind defend. This time you agree? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, same flop. Checks.
Okay, well, we know that. So we don't have a blocker. Any blockers? I think we just check and then see what he does. If he bets the turn here, then he has to have the overpairs, right? Because that's how he would play the overpairs. Whereas when you had the ace king jack X, he
Just
would
check through, yeah.
So you can bluff the river confidently if you need to.
Right. Agreed.
That's not the correct
Not that one.
That's another one. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said there. And we would bluff rivers that are lower than like 10. Yeah. Rainbow try king queen. Okay. This is a flop we can lead, but without a 3 or 4, it just doesn't make sense. And we just choose not to. We'd be leading way too much if we're leading when we don't have a 3 or 4 here.
That's probably not the best turn.
Alright, nothing to see here. Lose to ace jack 10 10. Okay. We have
a potential squeeze spot or single suited. What? Don't give me the answer. You start shaking your head every time I talk, and then I know I'm saying something wrong.
Okay.
So then you don't even get you
Okay, go.
make me bail on my plan.
Okay. Go.
Do I know what not to do? This is a jack. Alright, Rick. I guess we call.
Alright, so I think slightly too good to fold. Suited to the ace. The 8 is a little bit of a dangler, but it still connects with the jack. So fine. I would certainly fold ace king jack 7. So this would be probably the worst hand I would call with that cold call of the small. Yeah. We don't 3-bet because we're only three betting double suited hands out of the small blind or aces. Um, so yeah, three betting would just be a bad idea. You're playing, you're 100 blinds deep, so we can see this as a cash game. You're 100 blinds deep playing. You'd be playing out of position with a single suited ace hand. I mean, and the eight doesn't even connect with the other two cards very well. So if you were to three bet a single suited ace hand like this, it would be ace king, all four broadways. So ace king, queen jack, ace king, jack 10, something like that. Single suit. That it? What are we doing if he bets on the river? What are you doing if he bets the river? So, go ahead. Sorry, you say. Without
Well,
knowing.
he's capped his range. I think it's a call because you have the king kicker. Okay, check call. I mean, sorry, you have ace king kicker.
Yeah, this is a good bluff catcher. I mean, yeah, he's obviously not never saying he has trips or better. So the only thing on the river he's saying would be that he had an overpair that he checked to the river with that beats us. But we block aces and kings, so that removes some. And yeah, this is just generally a fine bluff catcher.
You don't really call this hand, do you?
Double suited tens on the
You
button.
have a deuce and a four.
Yeah, this is kind of light.
Oh my god, you called this hand? Alright, pretty much everything I would do in Omaha, Rick just does the opposite.
It is worth noting that he opened small, 2.4 blinds, and we are 100 deep with everybody at the table, and we are on the button. So we have to consider the raise sizings when we are calling hands. So we do widen our range here when he's opening to 2.4.
It would probably be better to 3-bet than to call, though. You have a 10 high double.
That's just crazy. We have no blockers to blocking 4-bets.
Like
that's not true. We're on the. That's not true. Munker says you should call a ton of hands on the button because it's so.
10, 10, deuce, 4?
I don't know. We have to run it in Munker. It's close.
Come on, there's no way. There's no way that that's a call. We can pull up the hands that are examples of like hands you should be flatting.
I mean, Munker says to flat ace queen 6-8 suited to an ace there.
That sounds way better than suited to the 10.
All right, but we have two tens too, so. All right.
God, you get yourself in terrible spots. What are you doing? Oh, this is horrible.
It's not that horrible yet.
I mean, if you call, you have a player behind you. Although, granted, I don't think that he's very strong. He's leading one big blind.
Yeah, so whenever somebody leads one blind, we just treat that as a check. So let's just say, ignore. I'm covering Blue Hoodie's bet. Ignore the one big blind. What would we do if big blind bets here into three people?
I know you're calling.
Okay, there you go. So ignoring the first bet, we call. Now we have an easy decision. But we'll show these hands to see what was going on. This guy was leading with ace 10 with hearts, so he had just heart draw. This guy was raising with ace king for just king with ace blocker. So we did have the best hand.
So what suit is that? That ace is that
Wait,
is that clubs?
Did you just skip the part where we got in like into a 30 blind pot with the best hand, a 39 blind pot with the best hand on the turn by a pretty good amount, and they're drawing pretty slim because he's got fucking 3 hearts in hand.
I can see why you're gonna win this hand but you didn't.
Alright.
I'm such an asshole, Randy. You'll learn that about me. You're
Alright.
such a nice guy sitting here trying to teach me poker. Giving him a hard time. Alright.
Alright.
Next hand.
We got double suited fours, baby. In the
Call.
big blind. Okay. Alright. Nothing too fun with this hand, though it's worth noting. We can maybe lead turn, but not really because we have no spades. If I had 2 spades, that would lead turn. Because it wouldn't be good enough to call. Alright, next hand. Now this is probably too wide of a defend. That being said, we are getting 4-1 in pot odds, and we do have decent side cards with our pocket fives. The 9 and the 10 are okay.
But in Mr. Wiener's lesson on cunning good blind, he talked about
Yeah, we need more nuttiness with the fit when going multi-ways.
he said you should be defending tighter, not wider,
Right.
multi-ways.
Right.
So you went looser,
I mean, I would defend this to button open. So
or you went looser.
I think we got some nuttiness with set at fives, and 9-10 makes some nut straights. So, you know.
Well, if you hit fives, you'll probably have top set. So that's that.
All right. Yeah. Let's not defend this if we're Jen or Randy. All right. All right. Over next. Almost done here. I think like 8 grand. Definitely. Oh well. Okay. Once he calls, maybe we should call. But ace 10-8. That could make some straights. Again, 4.3 to 1.
Multi-way, we play tighter.
Yeah,
They're
but
not
yes,
suited
multi-way we play tighter, but when they open smaller, we're getting good pot odds and our equities are close, except you're right, there is a lot of reverse implied odds when we have a 10 high flush. But we do have an ace 10-8, so those are high cards. But yeah, maybe this one's close. I would say this one's close. But we're pretty good post flop, and we like get a lot of bluffs through, so I feel pretty confident in my post flop game. Oh, speaking of.
Except you told me you don't really check raise bluff ace high boards because it favors the pre-flop raises
Yes,
so much.
so we have to have very good blockers to do so, which we have the perfect ones.
You do have a 10. I like it.
Yes. And an ace.
But you are putting yourself in like a higher variance spot.
Yeah,
by
but
defending this in the first place.
But having such good removal,
That's true. Okay, so this is worth.
I don't know, but yeah, I love this hand for sure. We're not done. The hand's not over. She just gave me like a like a dead face.
Well, we gotta keep going now.
Yeah, I mean this is
Not
great.
stopping.
We block an ace top set and king 10. Like there's no way he can continue on this turn, and we have a 3 of clubs in our hand. That's worth
So,
it.
do you 3/4 or pot here?
3/4 plus a
3/4.
little. Let's see.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice hand. A big old pot you won.
Alright. Don't say 3-bet. We're not double shooting,
You
okay?
already called.
I know. I'm just
Oh.
saying. Alright. This fucking guy loves the one big blind. This is the same fucking guy. One big blind. That's his fucking thing. Alright. Take the lead, sir. Checks through. Okay.
So I would. Trying to think if I would bet the flop. I might bet the flop.
You would lead flop?
Yeah, why not? You
No,
only made
deuce
it
3
3.
doesn't. No, without a 7, it doesn't make any sense. Like, deuce 3 doesn't connect with any of our ranges.
Do you want lower cards in your hand? Just like to make a. So that you can turn some straight equity?
You're saying to lead?
Yeah. Like what
I
kind
mean,
of
you're
hand
not
do you
really
want?
leading any boards against a 3-better with deuce 3 on them, because.
Well, that's not a
you-
3-bet though. That's just a call. You said we treated it
Yeah,
as a call.
Okay, you're right. You're right.
You're-
Okay, you're right. So
You're
then.
acting like I'm being
You're right.
funny,
No,
but
you're all
this is
right.
what
No,
you
you are
said.
right. We treat that as a call. We would treat that as a call. So then, would we c bet? Would we bet when check? So let's ignore the blue hoodie thing. This guy opened, we called. We check if when we bet when check two
Well, if I
against
have
a pre-flop
kings or
raising.
if I have kings or aces, I'm gonna bet.
No. Remember, we need board interaction.
So I need
Forget having a big pair or whatever. You need board interaction to see bet or to bet.
So I need aces with a 3.
Yes, or well, an overpair with a 3, an overpair with a 7, an overpair with a deuce, an overpair with a 4 or a 5.
Okay, check. I'm convinced. I think you're right this time. Alright. I really want to meet this blue hoodie character.
This guy, Dude Love, is a big fish as well. He's marked green, so.
I think I like.
We have
I like
single
calling.
gapper.
I like calling or 3-betting. I think calling's okay.
Stop thinking 3-bet unless we're double suited, okay? No 3-bet unless double suited. That's your rule for sure, because I'm serious. You like 3-betting everything.
Okay.
In PLO, it's not about getting folds. It's about having playability post flop.
Alright. But this is pretty playable, right?
Right, so we call
It's
it,
more
but
playable
it's not
two-ways
it's not like
versus,
build
like,
a huge
3-ways.
pot, 3-bet it, playable.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
Keep it together. I would just check.
So the 5 is nice. Actually, but we don't have a backdoor diamond draw, so this could play either as a check or a bet. I think I checked, yeah. This one's fine to call multi-ways because we have 2 10s instead of 2 5s. This is the same hand as last time, but last time we had 2 5s. 5 5 9 10. This one's 10 10 9 5.
Well, if we're calling 5 5 9 10, then we better call 10 10 9 5, right? We gotta stick to a plan here. Alright, lead.
Ooh, I hope Rick leads. Does Rick lead? Oh, but no diamond, so maybe Rick
Don't
doesn't
care.
lead.
Lead. Damn it.
No, I think I like your lead, but no diamonds, and I don't lead. If I had one diamond, I would lead. There's too many diamonds that they're continuing with without having a diamond, and we'd have to be bluffing SPR.
If we don't have a diamond,
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Seems like an obvious defend.
Alright, we've learned this one. We have a blocker on a static straight board. You lead half pot.
I think we got this one right. Oh,
Damn
it!
it.
No, you got it right. I got it wrong because I agree. This is a lead. I agree. Except, well, maybe not an 8. Maybe because I don't have an 8 or 9. So just a 5 without an 8 or 9 is not great. So it would be a very loose lead. And without a backdoor flush draw for backup equity. So it would be a loose lead.
I'm leading.
I think that's okay. But it would be a very loose lead. Alright. 2 gapper. It's fine. Bend. 2.26 blinds. This is fine.
That last hand, that was a rainbow board, right?
Yeah.
Would it be bad to check raise?
Again, without an 8 or 9, it's just like you're
But you're
not blocking his continuing range.
Oh, okay. So
Because
you're
he could have 8,
blocking.
9, 10, and then like he gets
So
that in,
then-
and we're.
So then, why don't you check raise the hands that have a 5 plus an 8 or 9,
Yeah,
and then lead
yeah.
the ones without the 8 or 9?
It's fine, except so you're gonna get a lot of board changing textures. Like, for example, if he had 8, 9, 10, he would call, and if an 8, 9, or 10 rolls off, or a 5, then our 5 becomes irrelevant anymore, and we can't continue bluffing with it. So we would just be raising once and then be done with the hand because we can't continue bluffing then. So just too many board changing texture cards that doesn't give us any blockers to the nuts. There. It's done. fine.
I think we kind of talked about a similar spot. You said that we needed double backdoors to continue on the rainbow board.
Yes.
So this is a fold.
Yeah, to continue with a call, you would need to be wrapped around the 10 and double backdoor flush draws. Yes. Okay.
Well, now because the opener is got a shallower stack, and then we have a 26 big blind stack behind. It's not a great spot. I know that
This is like very similar to the other spot.
Yeah, I know I wouldn't. I know I wouldn't. I'm just trying to think like what hand he's opening that isn't like a pretty strong hand. I just don't think that he's like opening light, right?
No. I mean, opening the cutoff. I mean, you're opening entire cutoff range with a short stack because you're so much to win with antes, with blinds and antes.
It's kind of it's similar to the other spot in that it's kind of a shitty spot because you don't really want to 3-bet such a poor hand with somebody behind you.
Yeah.
Calling puts you in a shitty spot because you're multi-way. I don't know. I think this is like a questionable fold for me.
I think this spot is much safer than the other spot. The other spot was much more dangerous because big blind had only 4 blinds, so he was super likely to just stick it in and reopen the action. Exactly. But this one, this guy Mookie has 26 blinds and is not likely to reopen the action unless he has an actually good hand. So this is much different, and especially because he's playing 6/3, so he's very tight. So I just don't think he's ever gonna do anything. Why would he reopen the action here with that stack? So this is much safer to play as a call than the last time. I agree with your last decision to fold in this one too. I disagree, and I think that this is a clear call. Yeah. This is a very light button call, but this guy Pescado Grande is actually a big fish. So we're playing a hand on the button with a big fish, marginal holding.
It's not that bad, right?
Yeah, it's not that bad. Suited the ace with pocket, yeah, not that bad. Yeah.
And your ace 5 can make some deals. Oh yeah, and then you have 7s to block higher straights.
Oh god. Okay, this is actually really worth rewatching and commenting on. Okay, so we called this guy's open. We got squeezed by Blue Hoodie, the Mr. One blind guy, and Pescado Grande, who I have stated is a big fish. 4 bets. We fold, obviously. This guy calls, and they get it in on the flop, only to see that big fish has king, queen, queen 5 single suit, getting a 4-betting in pre, with the willingness to obviously get in this hand in these spots. This is fucking. Look at. Wow. What just happened?
I can see why you want us to play these tournaments.
Can you say that?
Randy, you should probably play these tournaments.
Look at this shit, dude. 120 blinds. I mean, unless they know each other, and this guy's like, please squeeze so we can just still shove it Rick's 3 blinds pre-flop that he just called. That's the only way, right? That this makes sense. And even then, I have rainbow aces where I'm just like, cool, back raise, let's go. And then he's getting in with king, queen, queen 5 versus bad aces. So like, what? Yeah, I don't know what this guy's. Maybe he had to go to an appointment or something. All right. So yeah, play this tournament for me, please. All right. Check. A hand close enough to raising after a limp, but the deuce dangler makes it check. Agree? This hand can play as a bet or a check with a 10 of diamonds, and obviously the queen. But without a pair blocker, I am just checking. And now,
Check.
well, now our hand is not good enough to check call because there's only one card to come, and the opponents have shown weakness. This guy checking twice, and this guy checking once. So, with the non-board changing texture, I think that we should bet yes, because we cannot check call ace high, and we have very favorable river cards to us with straights, and even with a diamond, we would be bluffing with a 10 of diamonds in our hand. So, bet. Now that is a straight, but it is also a diamond, so this can
Probably
this
check call.
yeah, this plays as a check call. We have a very good bluff catcher versus Miss Hearts versus anything else he wants to turn into a bluff. God, do I fold? Don't fold, Reed. Please don't fold. Oh, phew. Okay. Whew, I thought I was gonna fold. Please don't fold. So that was perfectly executed hand with the river check and getting value from the missed hearts. We got one more hand.
This is the best one.
We check back. We have pocket fours. So on paired boards, we are betting 1/3 when we have eights or better. But when we have eights or lower, we just try and hit the showdown or maybe bluff with other cards.
Wait, what do you mean? Eights are like, what if we don't have a pair?
Then we bluff most of the time. Oh, I called. Okay, so I called because we have open-ended plus pocket fours. Seems fine. Okay, so when we get to the river, we have
a heart blocker. And
yeah, and this is like our worst hand we get to the river with. Agree.
yeah, and I think he's probably betting his boats. His like turn, like if he tried like jacks randomly, he would bet that.
So
or sixes full.
it is worth talking about the sizing because on the flop we checked back, so we don't have many queens. He checked on the turn, and we just called the one big blind, so we don't have many boats. And on the river, when the board's paired and nobody has boats, we're not saying we have a boat. We're just saying we have a flush, so the bet should be 1/3 or half, not over half. Which I believe the bet looks like 1.5, so a little over 1/3, so it's like 36%.
Lied to me.
Check back.
Let's see, 7, 8. We don't have a 9 or a jack, so we don't have blockers. We don't have a pair, and we have the dummy end of it, so I check. Don't have a club draw. Don't have a club. I just can't check.
This play either as a check or bet. I'm not sure what I do. I agree that checking is good. I think that betting is fine too because we have some equity, but not good enough for showdown. So I can see either way with a better check here. Yeah. Okay. Sure. Check, of course. Okay. Hand over.
Okay. He led 3-5.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, you should definitely play this tournament.
Okay, let's watch. Okay, so he limps down the gun with aces. This guy leads into 3 people, and oh well, he's only got 13 blinds. So okay, so he has ace jack 3, right? So he definitely should get in 13 blinds with ace jack 3 here. And this guy has bottom 2, right? Does he have any redraw? 3, 5. He has a gut shot. 3, 5, 6, 7 gut shot, 1 diamond. So, I mean, So this guy I also have marked as a fish, and this guy sent me home as a regular at the higher stakes cash games that I'm playing through 2-4 and mostly 2-4 and some 3-6. Um, so yeah, he's just leading with it. So, and I see this a lot in PLO, in this PLO tournament. People are getting in their bottom two pairs all the time, which are just like doing a very bad shape versus get in hands. Anyways, all right, that concludes part 2 of what would Jen do. Jen, you have anything to say about the whole series and how it changed your game for the better?
Oh, you're still recording. You're not kidding. Tournaments are just different. It just seems like tournaments are different because of the big blind stacks. I don't know, and it also seems like these are 50 NL play or 50 PLO players, not
$600 buy-in.
$600 buy-in tournament.
Yeah. So you see why I'm trying to get you in here?
Yeah. I think the straight board review was really good.
Okay.
That was probably the best.
All right.